All right. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Boy Does Roll 20 Hate Me. The show where I say fuck you to Roll 20 over and over and over again, and it dies or stops using the things I want it to. Uh, Special guest on tonight's broadcast is OBS for not working the way it's supposed to. I don't know why, but it's an annoying the hell out of me, and I cannot find a fix to it. So, hi, I'm angry, and and unfortunately, my players are going to suffer because of it, because this is the only outlet I have for my anger. Uh, hi,
Yay.
hi, everybody. Let me just. I just. I just don't understand how this got so screwed up. Anyway, this is my custom D&D campaign. These are the players. I added music. Roll 20 may or may not pick it up. I don't know. But let's try and play this game before panic attack ends everything. So let's jump right back into the story. Recently, the party had excised a being that called himself the Dark Lord, an immensely powerful vampire, from a lair, and had brought it under the power of Celeste, the patron of two of the party members, and it being affiliated with the light and undying energy. After dealing with all that, they left to try and find the closest town in order to start piecing together a little bit more what was going on with these random rifts and tears in reality they kept finding. They eventually found another tear into what appeared to be the elemental plane of water, and after destroying the thing that anchored it to this plane, it collapsed in on itself, unfortunately taking the life of one of the members of the party. When this happens, Celeste contacted Vala, telling her something was wrong, and they decided to head back, only to take a slight detour to find this blue sorcerer that had no memory, but had some sort of connection to what was happening. On their way back, they were attacked by these strange wolf apparitions that they have eventually realized were being caused by a single, relatively powerful vampire that seemed to have a personal vendetta against Vala. After arriving back at the lair that is now Celeste's base of operations, and dealing with some traps and the things like that, Vala kept hearing this message from this female vampire, which shouldn't have been possible because of the ring of mind shielding she wore. To check if it was working, she removed it, and the voice told her, "Ha, I know where you are now." And so Valix explained what she had heard, and that they were probably going to be attacked by a vampire and possibly more. And they started setting up the defenses, the first of which being Valak contacting the fairies you all had met back in Valakovia, and them setting up setting up a bit of a fey maze in front of the lair. With that, it's been a rough couple of days for you guys. You've dealt with giant curtain adjacent mouths eating your party members. You dealt with finding out that your safe haven may not be as safe as it once was. And you're also still, in your own way, dealing with the loss of one of your friends. All except for Nameless, who is convinced that rolls are magical creatures.
I mean, they are.
So, when we ended last time, where I think we ended right after finding out the fairies had set up a fey maze.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
So at this point, it's relatively late. Not quite. Right at like twilight-ish. What do you all want to do?
I agree with Vala. How far out do you think they are?
I
Do
have
you have any idea how soon we'll be inside?
no idea. On the plus side, I assume she went to go get reinforcements, but I have no idea how long that'll take.
Roll me a history check.
The shirt is maybe not as lucky as I had hoped. 13.
So kind of thinking back, having lived in Sanguinius and kind of dealt with the vampires from your former life, you're relatively certain even a vampire lord would not go into to battle completely alone. Generally, most noble vampires will have a contingent of blood knights that they always travel with, and anytime they're expecting a fight, while they are more powerful than your average human, they like to stack the odds in their favor.
But no idea how long it would take to get him here.
Well, being in Fenrish and being a pretty significant distance from the border, you know vampires generally don't hang out in Fenrish. So you think you've got at least a day or two minimum, simply because even transporting people by magic would require a little bit of time for people to regain spells and the things like that. So
I'll turn to Lillian and just go, I mean, maybe another day or two. She'll want reinforcements. She already knows she can't handle this by herself. But beyond that, your guess is as good as mine. And I don't know if Liliad can hear me or not. But I know there was also talk of Lillian. I know you were also going to try to contact some of your blood hunter friends, see if they might be able to aid us.
Yeah, Jody, can you remind me how long it will take me to travel to that place?
Yeah. There's a fortress kind of thing, like a camp, where some blood hunters will to train at and bed down, and it's about, if I remember correctly, I believe it's about a day's journey north of where you are. So round trip, you'd be looking about 2 days. Obviously, traveling alone versus a group will change travel times and other things, but average it would be about a day.
Well, I know within the camp where we might find some, but it would take me probably a day and a half at bare minimum of traveling as far as I can. Probably closer to 2 days. So I don't know. I mean, that would be cutting it kind of close, assuming that Tuesday minimum when you said.
Right. And there's no telling how many of your friends can get here.
Yeah.
Beat the vampires here. I don't know.
I mean, is it try and open a bed or play it safe? Is it going what we have?
I mean, I don't like the idea of losing members of the team for 4 days.
Round trip, it would be to 2 days.
Yeah. Round trip doesn't sound that bad.
How far in miles would that be?
It's a fantastic question. Obviously, I know exactly how many miles it would be, of course, because I created this world. I'm basing it on the idea of you can travel roughly about I think it's like.
What does Tommy Lee Jones say in the future?
I'm basing it on. I think the number is 20-ish miles a day is what the average party can travel. So that's what I'm basing it on. To be blunt, on my map, I measure things in the days more than I do in miles, and then transform it back. But so we're saying roughly about 50 miles. No, north.
Okay, because I was gonna offer to use up all my 4th and 5th level slots and just dimension door if it expedited it, but it wouldn't be that much.
Yeah. Right now, the biggest issue you guys have is a lack of knowledge. It could be she could be back on the doorstep in like 2-3 days. It could be a week. The Order of the Ghost Hunters would have more information than the rest of you on fighting the vampires, because it's kind of the thing. Someone had scry spells. You could try scrying on her or other the things to get more information. But right now you're going off of, what, 3 messages that showed up in Vala's head, and her own experience from years and years and years ago.
Because our curiosity, would they help me be quicker?
I hope I have to read for a second.
I don't think it lasts that long. Just 1 round minimum. Last number of rounds equal to the intelligence modifier.
So, I mean, theoretically, going ethereal would help you if there was something physically blocking your path you couldn't go around. But anytime you go through something, it's difficult terrain, which slows you down. So there are benefits and drawbacks to it. With the kind of limited in the nature as far as time is concerned, it probably would only be useful, again, if you found an impasse you couldn't get through, and going around would take a very long time.
So after this, someone has to be a paladin so we can have fine speed, and then we'll be set.
Yeah. Again, because of where you guys are, your allies that are physically close, there just aren't many. If any of you have connections to people with magical travel abilities, you have access to a teleportation circle in the lair.
We already got it, guys.
My brother is a mercenary, but I don't know where he is currently, and I have no way to contact him. So.
You know, the pixies got here really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could ask them for help. More help.
I mean, we have an army, and I point to all the roles I've arranged on the teleportation.
Oh.
Right, with that logic.
Oh, my sweet summer child.
We're unstoppable.
I will go and try to find one of the pixies.
Okay, so as you start heading out and going to where you saw the pixies before, because setting up this Fey maze is a fairly intensive thing for them to do. So you head out to where you think they should be, and you see a fairy kind of moving and go behind a tree to do something.
Excuse me. I wonder if I could trouble you for a moment. Hello?
No answer.
I will go around the tree.
As you get there, you see a little bit further off, that's the same fairy going into a bush, looking like she's casting some sort of ward as she does it.
Excuse me, I don't mean to bother you. I know you're busy doing work to help us, but I need to ask another favor.
No answer.
Oh, this is a bad idea. I will step slowly away from the bush.
Okay. Well, you're by a tree. The bush is further away.
I look on the ground. No mushrooms.
No mushrooms.
Okay.
Well, let me rephrase that. No mushrooms like what you saw. You are in kind of the damp area, so there's some mushrooms that you know you don't want to eat.
I will carefully walk back to the rest of the group.
As you do, you feel something hit you in the back of a head.
I'll turn around. What was it?
Nothing there. As you look on the ground, there's a little acorn.
I'll pick it up and pocket it.
Okay. As you're sitting there, you feel something hit you in the butt.
I turn around. Is it another acorn?
Yep.
That's a good prank.
You hear something almost as if it's being whispered in your ear, but you can't find me.
I cast Fairy Fire on myself.
Okay.
Like, I cast Fairy Fire centered on myself.
Make me a dex save.
That's cocked. I should have went with cocked one. 16.
Okay, what's yours? This is a spell save DC. You are saving against your own spell.
17.
Yeah, as you're sitting there, your flames just erupt and cover your body. But as you look, you see this little ball of a fire just kind of dancing around. And suddenly it kind of poofs from existence, and you see a fairy there with a red face goes, oh, that's cheating.
I cheat.
Want to play again? This time, no cheating.
Actually, I have another game that might be fun.
Oh! And she right up to you, very excited.
So my friend Leanne needs to go north a ways to try to get some more friends to help us fight and play games on the me and vampires. We need to get back really quickly.
And you see her just sitting there thinking. So, you want me to come up with more games to pass the time?
Well, I was wondering if you knew a way to get him back faster.
To get the one with the swords that light up?
That's the one.
Well, she's kind of big, and she doesn't. The fairy comes in real close. I don't think she likes us.
I think if you could help her, that would make it go a long way to getting her to like you.
We haven't done anything wrong. She should do something for us to make her, us like her better.
What if she plays word games with you on the way there and back?
Ooh, games like riddles?
Sure. Wait, no, this ended badly last time.
They'd have to be good riddles.
Ooh.
What about I Spy?
That's a boring game. That's for babies.
The right here, friend.
Oh. Ah. 20 questions?
You see her, like, seriously considering this. she'd have to be really good.
She is the best at it.
Where would we be going?
I'm not entirely certain. There's a fortress safe house where other blood hunters will sometimes go.
More people like her? They don't like us. But back in the Verdant Empire, there are a few of them there. They would hunt us.
You have my word, these ones will not hunt you, and if they do, I will hunt them.
And she seems really pleased with this idea of you hunting blood hunters.
As I'm still on fire.
Yeah, purple flames everywhere. Okay, but she has to ask me herself. And she comes up and she kind of just boops you on the nose. And you feel this kind of tingling sensation. And you look around and you're not right outside the lair anymore. You can see where the lair is. You're about 15 minutes away from the lair now.
Oh, they can teleport things. Is the pixie anywhere near me?
No, not that you can see.
They're really gonna mess up the vampires. And I begin walking back to the lair.
So while this is going on, the rest of you are still in the kind of the throne room with the teleportation circle. You saw Vivala wander off, apparently to go get some pixie power. What about the rest of you guys?
I'm just staring at the rules on the teleportation circle like a child focusing on a toy you really want to play with, but then slowly falling asleep. And then you're like, no, the toy. Waking up again and slowly falling asleep.
I'm just casually watching No Name being amazed by the rolls.
I'm gonna ask Satin if they have stuff here that'll help me prepare this T-Rex leather because I have nothing else to do.
Sure. They don't have like a tanning station set up, but there's enough material that you can build on without too much difficulty.
I'll get to work on that, so it's not rotting any.
You think it'll take about a day to fully to tan it to the point where it can be used to create armor.
All right.
So after watching the Nameless just slowly nod off, eventually you see Vivala come back. You can see a couple twigs and sticks in her hair, and she seems slightly out of breath. And muted.
Those fairies. I will go find Lillian.
Okay. She's right there.
Yeah.
Hey Lillian, the pixies have agreed to help you. Provided one, we can guarantee that the other blood hunters won't hurt them. And if they And if they do, I will have to hunt them.
Okay.
Am I still on fire?
No. Fairy fire ends after a minute.
Damn, okay. And
You
secondly,
can cast it again if you want.
that's I don't think I can. Secondly, you have to ask them yourself, and thirdly, you have to play 20 questions with them on the way. Thanks, bye. And I turn around and walk out the room.
Alright.
So, what do you want to do, Lillian?
I guess I'll go see how it feels.
Yeah. As soon as you step outside the door, right in front of your face is this little fairy. She's just kind of buzzing around. She goes up to you. So, do you have something to ask me?
Yeah, would it be possible for you to help me find some friends? I know what they are, it's a matter of how quickly I can get to them.
Maybe. And she's just kind of sitting there, swaying back and forth.
Yeah. I don't know what I can do. Do you think but I will try my best to convince them not to hurt you anything?
And she looks at you. You see this little glance of fear. She goes, "They're actually gonna try and hurt me?"
I mean, I don't think you're everyone that would be important in that series at what I am. I mean,
You kind of get the idea that she was using them, hunting her as a negotiation tactic, not thinking they might actually do it. So you could see some of the colors drain from her face a little bit, and she's like, "Well, they're gonna hurt me. I don't want to go."
if I go with them, I can talk to them before we can review your role.
And then she gets this little mischievous smile. So I can play hide and seek with them?
Yeah.
Oh boy! And Vala already promised that you were gonna play games with me on the way there. She said and it was a promise. You can't break a promise to a pixie. It's just not allowed.
I mean, definitely a valid promise.
Yeah, but if you break her promise due to the ancient pixie code of 984, then we have to bring down all of the wrath of the Feywild on you, e pluribus unum, and you die. Yeah.
I didn't die. I don't play it with you, but I am. And then, do you play dice games?
Oh, yes.
I'll play dice games with you, Mommy.
But we gotta wager on them because they're not for fun if you're just rolling the dice.
Of course.
Okay, I've got work to do for the rest of the night, but tomorrow morning we can go right as the first light comes over the horizon.
How quickly can you get me there?
I need to know where it is. Do you have a map?
Yeah, so.
Yep. So you kind of show the rough area where it is. These blood hunter camps are built to be able to move around a little bit, just to make them harder to find. So you have a rough area that you know it'll be there somewhere. She goes, well, depending on how many games we play and how long it takes for friends to fight me and hide and seek, we could get there and back by tomorrow night. But we would need to leave right for first light.
Of course.
Okay.
I'll see you at first, right?
All right, and she sticks out her little pixie hand.
Oh. Oh, I'll see you.
Okay. Done. And she kind of boops you on the nose, and you feel this tingling sensation, and you're not right in front of the lair anymore. You kind of look around. You're about 15 minutes away from the opposite side of the lair, so you can actually, at the very edge of the horizon, you can actually see some of this sea, because you're slightly higher up. All right. So Lillian starts her to trek back. Do the rest of you guys have anything else you wanted to do?
No, I'm just sleeping on the sigil rolls.
If you want, you guys can also prepare your own defenses for the layers as well. You can set your own traps, or make your own ambush points, the things like that. All right, so if there's nothing else you guys want to do, you guys kind of lie down and get as good a sleep as you can. A few of you will wake up in the middle of the night to the various things, like Commander, while you're sleeping, you suddenly feel a warm sensation around your legs, and you wake up to see that your hand has been dipped in warm water. And in the nameless, you wake up in the middle of the night to see 4 rolls kind of just floating over your bed, spelling out the various shapes, and then vanishing in a puff of smoke.
Knew it.
The rest of you sleep relatively unfazed.
When I wake up in the morning, how many rolls are missing from my circle?
All of them.
Oh. I immediately find Vala. You have to see this.
And I imagine I had a very rough night. Or fairly uneasy.
Somewhat. You keep having, like you didn't wake up or anything, but you keep having dreams that are much closer to memories than they are nightmares, but they're extremely unpleasant memories. Some of which don't make 100% sense. Like they feel like memories, but you don't remember them.
Okay, I've got a really bad feeling.
Argenta, they attempted to prank you. You just never woke up. So they got bored and went to other people.
I'll just start dragging Vala to the teleportation circle.
Yes. What? It's a teleportation circle.
But Vala, I would like you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
12.
Okay. But because of the restless night and everything, you will basically be affected by the poison condition for the first about 2 hours that you're awake, because you just didn't sleep well.
Awesome.
Look,
So your skin's a little bit pale. Your mouth is dry. There's a little bit of an ache in some of your joints.
What's going on here, buddy? It's a teleportation circle.
yeah, where I put all those weird brown things last night.
Maybe it's rats?
I
Or-
slept here.
Pixies?
And what are those?
The little flying things that built the maze outside. They like playing practical jokes on people.
There's more people here? I was in this throne room the entire time the pixies were here, so.
Yes, I don't... Oh, they would have way too much fun with you. Let's go into the kitchen and we'll get some more rolls.
There's
And I'll-
more?
They're food. They're not alive.
I just begin running to the kitchen.
It's gonna be a long day.
As this is happening, Liliane, you wake up a little bit earlier than everyone else. You go out to the outside. You meet your little pixie friend. And she looks at you and goes, "Ready?
Yeah.
Take my hand." And she reaches her little pixie hand out.
Oh.
And as you do, your body starts to tingle a little bit. And as you kind of raise one of your arms, it feels incredibly light. As you move around a little bit, your whole body just feels much lighter than it normally does. It takes almost no effort to move at all. And so suddenly, you see her kind of grin. She looks towards the horizon to the north, and you start moving faster than you ever have. Trees are rushing right at your face with the last second you move around them. Your legs keep getting slapped by underbrush and the things like that, but it doesn't hurt. You're just aware of it. And after about 20 minutes of that, you stop, and your stomach was left about 10 minutes back. The fairy stops and lets go of your hand and kind of flies around for a little bit. As you look back, you can't see the lair anymore. And the pixie turns to you. It's like, we need to rest for a moment. I've taken mortals further than that, but like their brains get all slushy and they leak out their ears, and then they're not as much fun.
No, I wouldn't about the dog.
So, for the next about 3 or 4 hours, you do these 20-minute jumps, followed by about 20 minutes of rest and downtime. In those 20 minutes, since you are in the wilds of Fenrish, was there anything you want to do while you're out there, other than rest, obviously? You did get some salted meats and hardtack, but basically from the kitchen before you left in the morning.
No, yeah. No, do I know, I probably would know that, vampires in this world do wooden stakes work?
I believe so. I don't believe they kill them. I have my monster manual right here. Maybe I should look. I believe they paralyze them and can be used for a final blow, but let me look.
So Vala, you mean to tell me that those creatures are made here?
Yes, they are delicious golems. And if you know the secret password, you can control them. I've spent many years trying, but I can never find the right combination of words.
So we can make more of those creatures to help us fight.
Unfortunately, there are limits to their abilities. If you can find garlic ones, they are powerful against vampires.
Wow. Okay, that was good.
Garlic bread for the win. Yeah, Lillian, you would know if you stake a vampire through the heart while it's incapacitated, it's paralyzed until you remove this stake. So it's if you don't have access to like sunlight or things like that, staking of a vampire is a really effective way to basically disable them until you can deal with them.
So do I know 20-minute breaks?
Mm-hmm.
I would be looking for any word that I can do, and any word I think I can use as a thing.
Okay. Make me a survival check.
Survival. All
right. So without too much difficulty, over the whole like the 3 to 4 hour journey, you make about a dozen stakes that are solid enough that you could stab something through a rib cage into their heart. While that's going on, Vala and the Nameless have obviously started unraveling the mystery of the bread golems. Argentin Commander, you guys aren't suspecting Lillian back until the night. What the things do you guys want to do during the day?
I want to take my 50 feet of rope, and I want to make a log trap, like right behind where that illusion would end.
Oh, okay. Sure. Let's just start with make me an athletics check to actually get a log or logs big enough to bring in.
And I would like to assist because that was better than the idea I had.
Okay. Do it with advantage.
25.
Okay. You have no problem finding a really big tree that doesn't look like it's rotting or dying or anything. Chop it down, strip the branches off, and you've got a nice, heavy log. To build the trap itself, I'm gonna have you roll sleight of hand, actually, to actually set up everything so it triggers correctly.
Alright, Commander, are you helping me again?
Oh yeah.
Alright.
Can I play some trap setting music to inspire them?
Sure. If you're done with your bread golems.
Mission Impossible, please.
Alright, are you giving me a bardic inspiration?
I'm giving you a bardic inspiration.
What die is that?
A D8, I believe. A bardic inspiration.
Well, that's gonna be a nat 20 with a total of 24.
So, yeah, you set up this trap. Now, what are you envisioning this trap doing? Like you step on something and then it's secured to the ceiling and just swings down and smacks him?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. You adding anything to the tree itself, or is it just going to be the weight of the tree?
Spikes.
Spikes, because vampire, I'm just thinking stake them. Even though it's not going to do anything, stake them while they're alive.
Hey, there's the off chance.
Hey, breaking skin still does the damage to vampires. It's just, unless they're magic spikes, it's not as much damage. But it's still the damage.
I have a horrible idea.
You tell.
This is compared with your other ideas of asking pixies to help you guys and then agreeing to hunt blood hunters.
Or just fire in general.
Yeah.
It does not. Look, I know my ideas have had a questionable track record.
That's putting it lightly.
But I will have looked around to find the metal rod.
Sure. Theoretically, the cages are still here. They're just not locked anymore.
Right. And I'll hold this up and be like, imagine a log with like 10 or 15 of these on it. You guys remember what it did to that door, right?
No, what to do?
Okay, don't lose suspense.
I will take Nameless into the library and show him the remains. There used to be a door here.
There also used to be shelves there before you burnt them.
That was daylight.
Another thing of fire.
If you guys want to hack apart those cells, that's going to take. That'll be the rest of the day and possibly part of the next. So whoever wants to do that can. I'm gonna need athletics checks from everyone doing it.
Oh,
I'll give it a try.
Vala made the mistake of showing Nameless in an area full of books. So what does any innocent, childlike mind want to do with books? I want to destroy some.
Let's see, tear them apart.
So, but to say, make a fort?
I don't even know if you'd know what that is. I just want to grab a book. If it doesn't interest me, I'm just going to throw it on the ground, grab another one. If it doesn't look fun, throw it on the ground.
Okay.
Do that until I find one that looks interesting.
Basically, one of pictures.
Pretty much.
Choose even or odd.
Even, because odd screwed me last time.
Okay. It actually doesn't take you long. The first book you open up, something about it feels familiar to you. But as you look through it, nothing jumps out. It's full of all these weird squiggly lines and circles and stuff. So you throw that. Go through and then the next one. You go through about a dozen books this way. But eventually you do find one that you open it up, and it looks kind of similar to the ones you've been throwing away. But this one, this squiggly lines, makes sense to you. You can read them. And as you sit down and kind of read the book, there are four groups of four book cases. Tell me which one you got you started getting books from.
I'll say the one closest to the door, because that would be, since I just walk in and see that.
Makes sense. So as you're looking through this particular book, there are pictures in it, in addition to these squiggles that mean words. And it's an alchemical text. But it's referencing not plants as much as concoctions, I guess would be the best thing. These are mixtures of different minerals and plants and stuff like that, and what they specifically can be used for. But all the illustrations are of how to mix them correctly to get the right powder or the right paste. None of them are full-blown potions. They're pieces of potions that if you were to mix them together, like this one will affect life force, or this paste will create a burning sensation, or the things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. To find that, it takes you the better part of like the 3 to 4 hours.
Sounds about right.
So Vala's going to be hacking up cages. Argent and Commander are building this trap. But for Vala, you give me an athletics check.
So, just a thought.
Mhm.
Since I'm trying to disassemble a jail cell, would sleight of hand have any? Like trying to get out of like locked cuffs?
If you want to go that route, you can. The bars are going to be much longer that way, because you're going to be taking full bars out, and they're not going to be pointy unless you add that afterwards.
Nah, we probably want.
They're still only about that big, so.
Yeah, I'm assuming we want more spiky bits than
Yes.
lances.
It's
So
entirely
11.
okay. So sitting there for the next 6 hours, you can hear the things being built in the kind of antechamber, the throne room in the front, and you're slightly worried about the fact that you don't hear Nameless, but you're sitting there with whatever items you can find. Over 6 hours, you are able to make the three, like, a foot and a half to 2 foot long spikes. But you did in order to make ones that work that well, you destroyed a half a cage to do it.
Okay, well,
Because they would either break at the wrong place, or they would bend at these awkward angles, or
okay then. I'm gonna take these to the others and be like, well, I have these. This was not as impressive as I thought it was gonna be. I don't know if you guys want to put these on the log, or if we had like another magical thing. I know dropping these on it from a large height would be spectacular, but I don't think we have anything that magical that we want to throw away.
while that is happening, Lillian, for the past few hours, you've been going at incredible speed, and towards the end of it, even with the 20 minutes rests, your head's kind of swimming a little bit, your stomach's a little queasy, and you're definitely a little weak on your feet, just from kind of a dizziness standpoint. But you stop, you look around, and you recognize the area you're in. And quickly kind of going over where the kind of migratory path of this particular camp is. Yeah. Okay, it should be right over there, off of a few thousand feet. So you start going through underbrush and over rock formations and things like that. You guys kind of hide off your camps pretty well, to the point where stumbling upon them accidentally is really hard. And eventually, as you could keep going, give what's your passive perception?
14.
As you are climbing through and eventually getting close to where you think the camp should be, you suddenly feel cold steel against your neck. And I don't need that anymore. We can do that. You suddenly feel cold steel against your neck, and a hand grips your other shoulder. And you hear this feminine voice from over your shoulder. You have gotten sloppy.
Yeah, baby, I have.
You feel the blades slowly get pulled away. An arm kind of helps you to your feet, and standing in front of you, clad in leather armor with a hood and a mask, that the mask is hanging from one side, is an older woman. You've always just known her as mistress, or other honorific titles, simply because she was one of the people that trained you. but you know everyone else calls her Dahlia. She replaces the rapier on her hip, and you also see a device you're not 100% sure what it does, but it's obvious there's a blade on her wrist connected to some sort of contraption. And she kind of looks you up and down, kind of ruffles your hair. Bad hair day.
You haven't figured me I'm a little motion that we're traveling.
Well, you're here a little late. We've already bedded down for this season. We weren't planning on leaving for a few months.
Well, I haven't really come looking for a place to bed down. I've actually come back here for help.
Help? Against what? We just finished a Were purge. This whole area is well, as safe as Fenrish ever gets.
I'm vampire lord.
She looks at you with this look of kind of a mixture of surprise and derision almost. She's like, we are far too north of the border to deal with a vampire lord. If they were doing anything in here, the war chief would have words for them and silver-tipped blades. You must be mistaken.
Oh no, the we'll see afterwards that I think the night will be different. And I've been traveling with a group that passed. How long will you say it been?
You see her kind of weighing what you're saying. Why is it every time we meet you make trouble? Don't you get tired of it eventually?
No.
Speak with Thaddeus. There's only about a dozen of us bedding down here right now, but
Well, at this point, I think my friend and I will figure it out. We hang out. I mean, one of my friends asked me out for help from pictures, which if I get rid of playing my motion sickness from traveling so quickly.
lovely.
Yeah.
Well,
But I said I need everything at this point.
let's speak to Thaddeus and see what we have. There are more than ghost hunters here currently. And she kind of leads you in a different direction than you were going. And you eventually could come to sort of rock formation that thins to the point where you have to go single file and kind of turn to the side. And as you could come into this clearing, open to this sky, you can see a few tents set up. You can see a pretty large fire with full kind of cooking things, like they've set up grills near it and grates and things, and basically have a mobile kitchen set in the center, and you see a bunch of blood hunters, and among them you see this very old gentleman. He's got this long white beard that has specks of gray in it. His head is almost completely bald, and his eyes kind of betray the rest of his look. If you were to just glance at him, he looks like a frail old man. But as soon as you meet his eyes, you can just get this feeling of strength and danger from him. He gets up, and he has this massive bastard sword on his back, large enough to be considered a great sword, but weighted slightly differently. He comes over. He's like, "Lillian, I wasn't expecting to see you this season."
I wasn't expecting to be here.
Well, you're welcome to any food you need, but we are unfortunately out of beds. We have a few alchemists here that have taken the few remaining beds we were saving for other ghost slayers.
I don't remember. I'm not in bed. And I was seeing the business. And that becomes assistance in a fight that's about to come to the friend of mine.
Okay. And just to kind of move the things along, you basically explain this situation to them. And the Thaddeus mentions that he has to talk with the rest of the blood hunters there, and you're able to go sit down and kind of wait. They offer you a pretty big bowl of some kind of stew, and torn off chunk of bread if you want it. Okay. It's
probably haven't eaten a whole lot over the last however long it's been.
Yeah. The few things you did eat, little bits you did eat, have kind of floated between your stomach and your throat for the past few hours.
Yeah.
But it tastes like you remember it. But blood hunters are not known for their expertise in cooking, but it's hearty and it's fulfilling. About an hour passes as you see that the Thaddeus and Dahlia going around to the various blood hunters, and he comes back with about 9 of them. These are the ones that are willing to fight in your hopeless cause. The rest, unfortunately, have sense.
Well, and I said,
And you see that the Thaddeus kind of start barking orders. You see he sends a few off to go pick um, uh, some supplies and the things like that in the relative area that will help with fighting the vampires. Asks if a few to hand over any holy water they happen to be carrying with them. And the group gets together and starts to head back with the help of the fairy. Back in the castle, at this point, the sun is starting to set. You guys have set up your log trap, set your tripwire and everything for it. Vala, you've hammered in the three spikes. So if somebody gets a hit with this, there's a good chance someone's going to get hit with these spikes as well. With the nat 20, Argenta, did you want to have a manual release for it or a tripwire type thing?
Just because I know people are going to be walking in and out, manual.
Okay. So yeah, you set it up to the side of the room, far enough away that yours is safe, but there's basically a pull cord that you can just one quick tug and down it comes.
All right.
Hey Jody,
Yep.
is that gonna take all day, or is there a chance I could do something else real quick?
Sure. What were you wanting to do?
Is there any chance this place where I want to try and see if I can find more silver to craft more bullets?
Sure.
Any silver that they'd be willing to be rid of?
Make me an investigation check.
I will see Commander looking around for silver, and bring him the pile of trash that I created out of half of a cage.
Oh, yeah. So first off, what did you get, Commander?
Investigation is 21.
Okay, yeah. You search around. You're able to find some silver coins, which are generally the easiest to work with. You also find in the vampire's chambers that no one has really gone in. He has an entire set of silver cutlery.
Oh.
Talking that room with the coffin.
Yeah. And fine china with gold inlaid in it. So you're relatively certain between the two of them, as long as you can find a decent fire, you can make bullets. However, when Vala comes up with these basically scraps of bars and that, if you would like, you can try crafting those into bullets. Though as of right now, you have no idea what those bullets would do. Other than being very, very strong. The metal itself is heavier than, or denser than lead, and stronger. So you think no matter what, they would, if you can get them to the right shape, they would work as bullets. You have no idea what additional properties using that would add to them.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to make more silver, but then spend a little time working with those as well, the metal, trying to make it bullets.
Okay.
Did I?
Go ahead.
Am I correct in thinking that you will need fire?
You know, Vala. You know, this is the one time I'm not ashamed to ask for fire from you, or worried in that sense.
And with that, the entire lair was burnt to the ground.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah. So, make me a tinkering check.
And that's Dex and proficiency.
Yes.
Okay, so that's
Because I was bored out of making my book house out of, like a card house but with books.
Mm-hmm.
After seeing Commander walk by with shiny objects, I began following him. And I will use 2 sorcery points and give you a D4 to roll on top of it
oh, thanks.
for a bend luck.
Oh, 1. Okay. So total with my +1 for the D4 is 24.
Okay. So, you basically spent half the day helping set up the log trap. For the other half of the day, with all this silver you've found and everything, you can make 60 silver shot.
6-0?
6-0.
Oh boy. Okay.
You found a lot of silver, and bullets don't take a ton of it. So,
Alrighty.
you should be set. As far as the metal, it does not work the way you're used to metal working.
Uh-huh.
So you're only able to make a total of 12 shots of the bar shots. We'll come up with a better name for them later.
I like bar shots.
Yeah.
Is it whiskey? Is it?
When Commander's making
Well drinks only.
Oh, never mind.
When Commander's making silver bullets, I'm gonna try and steal one because they're shiny.
Sure. Make me a sleight of hand check.
Let's see. That's a natural 2 + 1.
Okay. So in the middle of the process of you forging these bullets, and making everything work the way it should, you see a blue hand kind of reach over and grab one of the newly formed silver bullets that are still hot. As he picks it up, he goes, "Ah!" Drops it directly on your lap, Commander.
Motherfucker.
As a smoking hot bullet with little bits of blue flesh melted onto it, drops into your lap.
I stand up and let it fall onto the floor, so it doesn't burn through my clothes and into places.
You both take 2 fire damage from it burning certain proportions of you. Unfortunately, Nameless, you are unable to take one of the bullets for yourself. You have learned, though, apparently bullets are hot.
I mean, they're both round. One's magical. I figured.
If you wanted to justify it, you can think that the bullet was just mad at you, so it bit you.
Now I'm just further convinced that round objects are powerful.
I look down at the bullet on the ground, still like glowing slightly. I look at him. I reach in my pocket and pull out 1 silver bullet and give it to him and say, Don't do that, please.
So you now have 59 silver
Yeah.
bullets.
I'm just gonna hold on to it in the hand that's not burning. And then I'll kind of go in a corner and, since I can do it once a day for free, I'm just gonna cast and just create 35. Well, how much is it? Cubic feet, I think. 35-foot cube or 10 gallons of water just to cool off my hand in the corner. I'm gonna create one.
The corner of the room you're not in, Commander, has become very damp.
We
Okay.
need to find him a nanny.
I thought that was your job.
I'm a little busy going through an existential crisis right now.
You know, because, you know, fire, water, you know, kind of cancel each other out.
I have a really bad theory.
Go on.
Mhm.
We know, we know somebody. Well, we know the Dark Lord was researching this similar technology that is being used to open these portals.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we know somebody snuck in here and stole, and I pull out my Warlock focus, stole this. And
Yeah.
somehow I got it.
Is it shinier than a silver bullet?
It's glowy. And red.
I'm
Like
gonna
the
try to
silver
steal
bullet that bit you.
I'm gonna try to steal it.
I am holding it in my hands.
Your attempted sleight of hand fails.
I will put it back. Look. I don't remember where I got it from. And the Dark Lord seemed to think that I snuck into this place and stole it myself.
Why? This place sucks.
It does. My fear is that I'm the one who snuck in here.
Why?
When?
I don't know. There are gaps in my memory. But I'm wondering if Leopold had some kind of control over me that I didn't even realize. I'm wondering if I'm the one who gave him this research information.
Is this the reason you have that ring? Or did you have this before?
Henri gave me the ring. I wonder if Henri knew something and didn't tell us.
That's always possible.
Since Henri worked for the Dark Lord.
Henri
No,
being
right?
secretive? No.
It's shocking, I know. I wish I could ask him some questions now.
Who's that?
A friend.
So, a vampire.
Vampires are not friends.
Right.
They are food. Wait, what?
I mean, they think of you as food, so
Yeah.
I guess with this female vampire being able to get into my head, even though I had the ring of mind shielding on, I don't know if there's some kind of a connection that I don't even know about. I'm just...
Is there any equipment that you can think of that you own that's on your person at all times you never let go of?
I mean... I will begin, like, taking everything I own off.
Leave your clothes
I-
on, please.
I will find some other clothes. I will
Okay.
lay everything out on the bed.
Satin provides you with basically like a night shirt, kind of the thing.
And I pull out my wand of magic detection.
Okay.
And I think that's a thing I have.
This seem to remember.
Yep.
This is something about that.
I'll activate that and then start wanding all of my items.
So going for full blown TSA.
I'm going full TSA.
Wow.
Sir. I just need to search your bag.
Hear the snap of a rubber glove.
Make me an Arcana check.
I'm fighting the urge because I see lots of shiny.
18.
Okay. Going over everything. Obviously, the spell focus you have radiates magic, but you were suspecting that. As far as the rest of it, as you run the wand over it, there's not really a ton like it. But because you are so magical, it has that kind of magic dust on it. But as you keep going and keep looking, you do notice kind of like a black light kind of thing. There's one spot on the back of the collar of your blouse that glows a little more than the rest.
Is this... I will inspect it a little bit more closely.
Okay.
I will cast Identify on it.
Okay.
See if there's any specific spell on it, or if this is just residual energy. Because I know I have that thing in the back of my neck.
It's as you cast Identify, you're very used to this spell doing a couple different things. It'll show you properties of magic items. It will tell you this is school of any magic spell. These are things that you're just used to. The information just kind of appears to you. When you cast it on this spot, you get one word in your head: blood. And as you look at this spot, it looks like dried blood. But even magical creatures don't have magic blood once it's outside their body.
I will take a dagger and just pinprick on my finger and just drop a little bit of blood. And then I will use Detect Magic on it.
Blood.
Oh, shit.
And that is where we are going to end it for tonight. Thank you to everyone that just showed up. Sorry about the late start. OBS really hates me right now, and I don't know why. But beyond that, if you missed any of the episode, I upload them all to my YouTube channel. Now with the sound of other than me, that's youtube.com/TrainerJody. And I just stream every other Wednesday night this campaign, or the second and fourth Wednesday nights of the month. So feel free to tune into twitch.tv/TrainerJody to watch us live. We love having you here. And I've recently expanded the channel points system to allow you to interact with the game. You can give healing potions and the things like that to the chat by just watching and hanging out. So again, that's all for me today, and I will see you guys next time. All right, bye.